So of all the tablets I've used, I've always used Wacom because of the quality, because of their business model. Everything has been great with Wacom. And their newest one, the Touch, kind of threw me off a little bit because it's been getting a lot of bad reviews. And I've tried the Touch, and the Touch is not that great. It's no different than the one I had before. So I was like, okay, let me try something different this time. But I was always afraid to try different tablets because every time I try a cheaper tablet, it's cheaper for a reason. So, but I didn't want to spend $3,000 on a Wacom. And I say $3,000 is because when you purchase the Wacom, you're going to purchase it, and then you must get that stand in order to really utilize this thing, as in a professional setting. So you have to get the stand. So that's another $500. So altogether, it's going to cost you about $3,000 or $4,000, depending on where you get it. Plus, you're going to need the insurance because you don't want something like that going bad and not having any recourse. So you got to make sure you do that. So I received the Ugee draw pad. Well, it's a display tablet, right? So it's a pen display tablet. And this is the box it comes in from Amazon. And there's a couple of places you can get this from. So here it is at the GearBest website. So if you go to GearBest and you just look for UG or Ugee, I'm not sure how they're pronouncing this, then you'll see it for $4.99. If you go to Amazon, then you will see it for $5.79 here. You can get a protection plan. So you can see it for that price at Amazon, and it's more expensive on Amazon. And I chose to get it from Amazon, even though I was paying more, because Amazon service is phenomenal. I've never had a problem with anything. And when I did have slight problems, they fix it immediately. Because it's in Amazon, they package the box that it comes in. So this is the initial box that it comes in. And you'll see it has Fragile on there, has all the other stuff on there. But the box is not very attractive. So everything comes in that box, and when you first open it up, you'll notice that everything is very well packed. The other thing you'll notice here is that the monitor has some weight to it. It's a pretty solid piece of equipment. It's not flimsy, and it's not plasticky. All the wires and everything you're going to need comes into this box here. The thing that they give you is these rags. That's not really gloves, but it's those rags. They do come with the rags, and they come with some gloves. Those gloves are just for cleaning, so it's not really like the glove that you would use when you're when you're drawing or anything like that. So they're just cleaning gloves for the monitor. It also comes with this screen protector that it's tough putting this thing on because of the bubbles and stuff like that. So, try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, order a better screen protector. I don't think this is the greatest screen protector. And as a matter of fact, when the screen protector is on there, it feels almost plasticky. So you might want to experiment with that. So here are all the cables that it comes with, and the software and everything that it comes with laid out of that box, screen protector, as I said before. And you get these cables here. These cables right here goes to the pen, and you get two of these cables because you get two pens. Now these cables charge the pen, and I'm coming from Wacom where I never had to have a pen that needed to be charged. So I think it's almost like the whole Microsoft Surface pen, where there's a battery in there, except these have a rechargeable battery that you charge. Now I have not I initially charged it just for a few minutes, and it seemed to work. I haven't had a problem with it. You can also use the pen with it being plugged in, which I would not recommend because you got this cable flinging around everywhere. But once it's charged, you won't have an issue. You just have to check and see how long it stays charged. I've been looking through the documentation. I haven't really seen that in the documentation so far. So you get two of these cables, and you get two of these pens. And I understand giving two pens. I'm not excited about getting two pens like so many other people, because these pens need charging. These are proprietary pens. I can't just go use any other pen. They're proprietary, meaning not a whole bunch of people manufacture these particular pens. So I understand it looks cool that they're giving me two pens. Actually, they probably should have gave me 5 pens, because these are proprietary pens. So okay, so then you get the plug-in, the regular plug, and you get the VGA. And then you also get this HDMI cable. and then you get the USB cable. Now, the HDMI and the VGA is optional, but you have to have one, at least one of those. And you must have this USB, and you must have the power cable. So that's 3 cables that must be connected to this monitor at all times. So don't think that you're going to be using this in a portable fashion, because you'll be setting up your entire, studio just to set up just this one monitor. This is a set up and leave it sort of thing. So always prepare to say, okay, where is my computer and where will this thing reside? So where is this monitor going to stay? If it's going to be far away from your computer, I would highly recommend, like mine, I got like almost 5 monitors here, and I needed to have extensions. So I put VGA extensions on there, and then I put HDMI extensions. So that way, depending on which one I was going to use, so that way I can move the monitor on a distance. So when I turn my chair around, I can get to that monitor when I'm using it. So you want to keep that also, keep that in mind. That's the power cable there. These are those gloves. I showed you that earlier. And here's how they look. They're pretty much just cleaning gloves. So this software right here is important that you read the instructions, because the problems that you will have if you don't install this right consist of the pointer not being aligned, the screen not connecting, like the pin is not connecting, a whole host of things that are going to come out that you think should be out of the box, but it's not. So, and here is the device sitting on its stand. It comes with a stand that's built into the back. At the bottom, you have this auto button, and you have the plus and minus for the menu, and you have your power button. This auto button here, it allows you to resize the monitor, the aspect ratio of the monitor in conjunction with the device. So it automatically detects the monitor. When you look in the back, you'll see you have all those different connections there. You have your USB here, you have your power, you have your HDMI, you have your DVI, and you have your VGA. So one of these 3 will have to be plugged in, which you would need an extension if you're far away from your computer. This has to be plugged in, this is long enough, so I don't think you would need an extension for that, but if you did, keep that in mind. And also the USB needs to be plugged in. So 3 things, keep that in mind, that 3 things need to be plugged in when using this, and have a place where your wires won't be just sticking everywhere, so you don't have to trip all over them. The good thing about this is that it comes with this stand in the back, which is awesome, because with the Wacom, in order for me to get the stand, I had to pay another, what was it, $1,000 for the stand, plus, so everything for the Wacom cost me almost $4,000, let's say, for the whole system. So $3,000 and then another $1,000 for that, and then anything else I needed, software, whatever, is going to cost you. So about $3,000 or $4,000 for the Wacom. And this came for less than $600. So you see why I was excited to pay $600 as long as this thing worked right. So this is why I wanted to do this review, to really compare the 2 that I've worked with from the Wacom. So you push on this lever, pull on the lever, and really easily the stand goes down and it holds up the whole system. It's not wobbly at all. It's not like you're going to be having to hold it up with your hand or anything, which it looks like. It looks very fragile, but it's really not. It's very sturdy. And so I really didn't have a problem with that. As you can see here, it's standing on its own, and when you're drawing on it, it's exactly the same. Now, I still have the plastic on here, so that's the plastic that it came with. That's not the cover, so don't get all freaked out that that's the monitor cover. That's just how it looks when it's brand new. So let's go ahead and let's start drawing on this thing. And I put it on this this arm, so that way I can move it around. As you can see, I can just move it wherever I want and draw. And when I'm done, I can just place it back right there, and then go do my thing. And it acts as a 4th monitor. Now, right now, I have 4 monitors here, and 2 of these monitors are double monitors. So technically, I have 5 monitors here, plus this one, which is a 6th monitor. So the main thing you need to understand, one of the main things you need to understand about this thing, is the fact that they give you this covering that you can put on top of it, which is not really that great, and it's hard to not put it on there without the bubbles. So you can take it or leave it, it really doesn't matter, or buy a different one with better quality. The other thing that's going to shock you, which actually shocked me, because I was thinking I was going to get this piece of plastic that I've gotten before from things like this that really wasn't solid. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing is extremely solid. Coming from someone who only purchased Wacom before, expecting quality. So after I received it, I hooked it up, and there's a little thing about hooking this up. The thing is that it comes with like a billion cables you got to hook up with it. So there's a couple of things you're going to need when you hook this thing up. You're going to need an adapter that's going to allow you to extend your VGA, because it is VGA, but it also has HDMI. So if you have an HDMI cable, you can use that, but also get an extender, because a lot of times you may want this thing. If you have like 4 monitors like me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors. 2 of these monitors are actually the size of 2 monitors. So each one of these monitors is 2 monitors. So this one's 2, 4, and 5 monitors. When I hook this up right here, this Ugee here, it makes it 6 monitors. So here's the second thing you need to be aware of is that you're going to need to have you're going to be attaching this to your computer, but it's going to act as a second monitor. And if your graphics card cannot take 2 monitors or more, then it's not going to work. They recommend that this is part of a system that has 2 monitors. Now, I've hooked this thing up to 5. I have 5 monitors over here. This actually makes the 6th monitor. So it obviously works even with that many monitors. It's all depending on your graphics card, and that's what I think they're getting at. They're getting at the fact that a lot of people don't have like a massive system that can hold 1,000 monitors. So they're making sure that you understand that it's best served to have this with 2 monitors. But there's a setup that you can do. There's a way you can put this on with 5 or 6 monitors. I don't think anybody out there really needs that. So having 2 monitors is fine. This would be the second monitor. If you have 2 monitors, just make sure that your system can hold 3 monitors if you're purchasing this. Or get rid of one of the monitors and use this as another monitor. So that's another bit of caution that you want to be able to be aware of. The other bit of caution is that they do give you 2 pins, but the pins have to be plugged in. And so they have to be charged, which may not be an issue for you because they give you the cable and it's USB chargers. Make sure you don't lose that cable. They give you 2 cables with the 2 pins, which doesn't seem to be a real problem, as long as you have the space to be able to plug those things in and keep them charged all the time. I'm not sure how long the charge lasts. I haven't tested that out yet, and I'll be testing that out in the next month. But I have not tested that out yet, so it may not even be an issue, or it may be an issue where it needs charging all the time. The other thing is that this is LCD, so you really can't look at this for a very long time. And the other thing I would say is that you're going to need to have some light, but that's with any display, right? So you're going to make sure that you have ample light, that you're not doing this in the dark, so you're not messing up your eyes or anything like that. And the fourth thing I would say is make sure that it's close to your system. Make sure that, because in order to plug this thing in, you need, they come with like 3 wires that you need. You need the plug into the wall, you need the VGA cable or the HDMI, and then you need the USB cable that plugs into there. So you're going to need an adapter or an extension for your USB, so that if you have it like mine where it needs to be all the way over here and my computer's all the way over there, then you're going to need an extension. Just keep that in mind. Maybe a VGA extension and possibly a USB extension. After that, they have everything online. They have the software online. And let's go ahead and look at how this thing works. So what I did was I hooked this up to an arm that I have over here, so I can move this thing around and I can do anything I want with it. I can raise it all the way up if I want. I can even stand up and then start writing on it, or I could just go ahead and set it right here next to my lap, and I can go ahead and start drawing something. All right, so let's look at how this thing works. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my arm here. Let me move the mic. Pull up my arm here, and now I'm just going to go ahead and do a few strokes and maybe draw something here. So what I can do here, I have on my left hand side, I have my keyboard here because I like using my keyboard, because if I'm using After Effects or something else like that, like ZBrush, there's a lot of keyboard strokes that you need that you really won't even be using on a pad, even if they have the keys there. And so, but there are a lot of brushes that you're able to use with those number pads and with those buttons that are on the side sometimes. But you're always going to be going back here and here anyway. You're going to be using your keyboard anyway with a lot of these pads, unless you're just focused on drawing something one piece at a time. But for right now, let's go ahead and I'm going to draw some strokes. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a layer here, and let's look at my brush here. So let's see, workspace, 3D. Let me just set this up. All right, feels good. Let's just try to get these strokes down right, draw some One Punch Man. It's almost like when you're doing this, you're meditating. You got to see it before you actually draw it out. You got to keep in mind too that while I'm doing this most of the time, I'm not really. I'm visualizing it, or sometimes I can even look at a picture and do it. But you know, when I'm testing out something like this, something like a draw pad or something like that, I'm trying to do a little bit more precise stuff. I'm not, I'll do some sketches so I can get some strokes down. But when it comes to something like this, I really want to feel this, and the weight actually feels really good. It feels like I'm drawing on paper. It feels like the Wacom. And don't completely take my word on this, but it feels like a $2,000 system. Actually, it does. So a $2,000 system that didn't cost me $2,000. That's so awesome. But I mean, I can completely feel myself. I can see myself doing full-on production work on this, whether it's anime. Now, again, I'm just drawing on this, so I'm not in After Effects or anything. But drawing is the most precise thing you can do. I mean, if I'm using this in ZBrush, I'm completely happy with it. And a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll draw something in order for me to give me an understanding. I need an understanding that it's the pen is going to be where I think it's supposed to be, So the pointer is going to be where it's supposed to be. The pressurization is going to be the way I suspect it's going to be. You're trying to get as close to a regular pencil as possible, or pen as possible. And if you're doing, um, you know, coloring or something like that, you want to know your pressurization and your mixing and your lighting and everything is going to be precise. And that's what this feels like. The thing is, normally when I'm doing anything, like if I'm drawing something, normally I like to make it a little more sloppy and not so precise, because normally I'm drawing my own characters. I'm not drawing someone else's characters, but and obviously a better artist would have drawn out their stick figures and stuff like that. But I'm not considering myself an artist because I'm not a trained artist per se. But I draw. Let's put it that way. And I use this for all of my stuff. I've done my animations and like stroking this thing feels really good. I mean, it's almost like the weight of the pen is the weight of the pen is extremely helpful. The the pad on my lap feels very solid. Yeah, I'm speeding it up a little bit. I'm like cutting through because I know this is going to take a long time, and I don't think anybody really wants to see me draw the whole time. But at least you can see how this thing is working out, and how precise the strokes can be. And this is not a very detailed drawing, but it gives you a clear idea. And at this point, I feel like I can, whatever my skills allow, I feel like I can do it with this thing. Now, again, I'm using Photoshop, so I don't know if it doesn't seem as if the pressurization would be any different on any other application, and maybe it works well with Photoshop and not well with something else. I did not check that out. It'd be a good idea to maybe try this out on some third-party applications, since a lot of people are going away from Photoshop because of their CC and their prices and stuff. So I can completely understand it, and perhaps I should do a video using it on some other application. Because I can understand people not going to Photoshop because of that whole subscription sort of thing going on. And even with the student account, it's still extremely expensive. So I get the whole idea of not using Photoshop. Now I know what's happening. What it looks like on your end is sometimes when I draw something, it looks like it's drawing afterwards, but it's not. That's just the latency in the screen recording. So it's actually right on point when I'm drawing it. Is the recording that's making it look all weird sometimes. And I'm drawing some heavy lines, some light lines. Just filling it out and seeing if I can be a little bit more precise in my vision as to, I've been watching a lot of One Punch Man. I watched the whole first series. I've been reading the manga. And I can visualize the image. This is one of my favorite visions of him when he's about to get serious. When he thinks there's possibly a challenge. All right, so there it is. There's One Punch Man. Let me go ahead and write some Japanese here. I'll just say thank you, arigato. And I'm probably gonna just put the U there for slang, in the way for slang, and I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna use two different brushes, so I'm just like this is my sketch brush, and I'm gonna cut this so it doesn't take too long for you to watch me sketch through these things. This is a brush with no decay on it. It's not really a sketch brush. It's like a finalization of things. Um, I'm being extremely precise so I don't offend anyone by how horrible my hiragana is. I'm gonna go ahead and jump ahead again. All right, so there you have it, and my review is complete in that I think this is something that you should buy, especially if you can't afford a Wacom tablet. It really feels really good. I don't have any problems with it, and I'm gonna be using it a lot. So if there's any issues with it, I'll come back on and give you guys a heads up on that. But as far as my review right now goes, very few problems with it. Maybe the initial setup, you may have some issues, but other than that, this is a really good system. So you want to learn more? Go check out more of my videos. I have things on After Effects, Photoshop, Maya, 3D Studio Max. I have things up there with ZBrush. I have motion capture stuff. I have compositing stuff there. I have Illustrator stuff up there. I have things on making masks, how to do green screen studio production. I have things on 3D animation and cloth simulations. I have things on how to make games. You know, if you want to make games, you go there. Game levels, programming, Visual Basic, C#, JavaScript, HTML5. You want to know about developing websites. You want to know about back-end PHP. I have all of that stuff back there, from information technology to office products. I have Word, Excel, Access, tutorials up here. The tutorials are massive. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be putting more videos up here. And if you have any ideas for any video, make sure you tell me. Arigatou gozaimasu. Asaki ni shitsurai shimasu.